Welcome to Chicago. Chicago is not only an interesting major city in the United States, it happens to be a hub of interesting weather. But with all the wacky weather that comes with Chicago, there are some misconceptions. On this episode of RainCheck, we're going to dive into what makes the Windy City so windy, and why so many meteorologists are fascinated by Chicagoland's weather. My name's Alexa Minton, and this is RainCheck. One of the first misconceptions about Chicagoland weather actually comes from the Windy City title. The first time the words Windy City were used was in 1893 by a man named Charles A. Dana. Charles was an editor for the New York Sun and posted an editorial about Chicago politicians being full of hot air and called Chicago the Windy City. He made this accusation because a lot of politicians in Chicagoland area were attempting to woo organizers of the World Columbian Exchange Exposition in order to have the location of the famous exposition moved from New York to Chicago. Therefore, the name the Windy City was born. And actually, it ended up sticking thanks to the substantial winds we feel here in Chicago. But before we understand what makes Chicago's wind so special, it's important that we understand what wind is. Wind, in the most simplest sense, is when areas of air move from high pressure to low pressure. The greater difference between the two pressures is the faster the air will move. That's what gives us the wind we feel today. Chicagoland, however, experiences a different type of wind. Thanks to being placed right next to Lake Michigan, Chicago experiences lake effect wind. This occurs when the area over land happens to warm and the warm air rises. This warm air leaves space for cool lake air to push in off the shore. These breezes turn into onshore breezes when the shoreline is directly affected by the wind. That's part of the reason Chicago's wind is so special. These lake effect breezes are not the only cause of the wacky weather in Chicagoland area. Lake Michigan happens to have lake breezes that push onshore during the summertime, which increases moisture content and cloudiness that happens to suppress summer precipitation. However, when winter rolls around, lake effect snow comes with it. Chicago is famous for some substantial lake effect snow thanks to the winds pushing north and northeast off Lake Michigan. This snow impacts the areas directly around the lake, including Chicagoland area. This reason and this lake effect snow is part of the reason that Chicago's weather can be so wacky in the winter. While Chicagoland does have some pretty wacky weather, the Windy City isn't the only area with interesting weather. Each city is a hub of unique and exciting weather facts just waiting to be explored. So the next time you head outside, don't be afraid to look up and see what you might find out about your city. Thanks for joining me today. My name's Alexa Minton, and this was RainCheck.